What's up, YouTube? So, I am here again. Yeah, this tarot journey for me has been a difficult one, as it's very, puts you in a vulnerable state in a way. But I am facing my fears. I'm going with my heart in this shadow series. I just again just follow my heart, and I'm just doing what I feel led to do. So hopefully it helps some people. If it only helps one person, I am very, very happy, extremely happy. And the one person that it has helped immensely is me. Okay, I did 3 readings the other day. Each of those zodiac signs I had placements in. And I'm telling you, like, I had a bit of an anxiety little situation yesterday because, I don't know, I think it was, just got nervous. And I erased all my videos from yesterday. Oh my gosh. But I reposted them. A little less description on them, but I reposted them. And the card here said, came out, I won't cry for you. It's like, yeah, yo bad, you got scared. I won't cry for you. Pick yourself up and keep going. And that's what I'm gonna do. Regardless of what people say, feel, think, know, understand. But again, this is a shadow series that I was inspired to do maybe about 4 days ago when I did a daily reading in which it spoke about shadow work. And so I decided, that same day I had just ordered, or maybe the previous day, I ordered a shadow deck plus a few other decks here. So I actually have 6 decks here, all of them which are, the first time they've been used is in this shadow series here. So, I thought I had 5. It was actually 6 that I got. I'm a, tarot oracle deck fanatic. But, enough with the rambling. Let's see what shadow work, the sign of Sagittarius needs to focus on. So right now I'm on the sign of Sagittarius. So divine forces of unconditional love of the highest macrocosm. What does the sign of Sagittarius need to know for their highest good? In regards to shadow work, what shadow work do they need to do to shed light on, to heal, and to integrate successfully into their life so that they may move forward? What shadow, what part of their shadow self may be blocking them or interfering them from achieving the goals that they want to achieve in life, or to achieve the goals that their higher self had planned for them. So let's get to it. Sagittarius. What does Sagittarius need to know for their highest good in regards to their shadow work? Shadow work. What shadow work does the sign of Sagittarius? What shadow work can Sagittarius focus on? I don't want to use like the need to or have to or whatever. But you guys, everybody is grown. So you ain't got to do anything that I say. I'm just here offering insight. Okay? So don't ever look at any tarot readings and be like, oh, well, they said this and I must do that. Like, stop it. Okay. It says downcast pride and gilded regret. Downcast pride and gilded regret. Sagittarius is your pride, leading you guys into a dark hole of regret every time. You know, they say pride is the leads to a man's downfall, something like that. And then with the romance angels, we have not the right time, and then romance. Two more. One more shuffle. Protection and simplicity came out of the Sacred Destiny deck. This one here is the Path of the Soul. Alright, so once we get the your shadow work, let's get some oracle cards from your soul. Let's see what your soul want to tell you. What path your soul is guiding you down in regards to your elevation, evolution, your learning, your initiation, your growth, your development to the next stage in your life, in your growth, in your mastery of self. Ooh, that's a pretty card. See, these I have these fractal art cards, and they are, you know, there's no words on it on a couple of the decks. I have one that does have words on it. Be fearless. Fearless union. Simplicity. You got simplicity twice from two different decks, and then one that says right. So maybe now is not the time. For a lot of action right now. Sagittarius. Simplicity. A lot of crown chakra energy here, except these last two cards. They have a deep red brownish color to them. Maybe some root chakra work needing to be done, perhaps. I don't know. But let's just read the messages here. I'm not going in this shadow series, since these are all new decks. I'm just going to pretty much stick to the books and read the messages that come across. And you guys can put it together whichever way feels best for you and what feels good to your spirit, whichever way resonates with you. All right, so with the shadow cards here, each of the cards correlate to a stage of grief. So the card that we have here for you guys is Downcast Pride. And the stage is depression. And depression comes, I think, after bargaining. Yeah, after bargaining. And when we bargain, that's when we try to postpone our grief. And, you know, we only hear what we want to hear and reject what we don't want to hear. And then once that fails, which is eventually going to fail, we can't just live life in a fantasy land of just hearing what we want to hear and rejecting what we don't want to hear. We have to learn, just like with this shadow work we're doing, this reading here, we have to learn to integrate the so-called good with the so-called bad. Like, you know, some people feel like there's no such thing as good and bad. It's about your perception, the circumstances surrounding a situation, which, you know, can make it good or bad. But depression is when we take that energy inside of us and that anger, and we take it within us. And when we, you know, bring it within, it begins to fester. We hide them from the outside, letting them gnaw at our inside. And then we bring out a mask of indifference, you know, acting like nothing is wrong, or, you know, just hiding the inner turmoil that's going on. So, Downcast Pride, it says, bending to adapt becomes an excuse for the habit of bending. Wow. So the visual seed. So you can meditate on this card or just see what messages you get from it yourself. But the visual seed, let me explain it here. It says the eyes, dark with dried blood tears, look downwards. The face of a dark-skinned, beautiful elf with gold laurels among her hair is stern and motionless. Roots plunge into her body from a golden collar. The sky behind her is gray as concrete. To describe this card in a sentence, it has here the root of sadness and grief is deeper than the skin. The only delusion is the gray sky. Going dark, or the message of that card. Survival is a direct consequence of adaptation. What we call adaptation is not the result of a subtle but constantly constructive change of ourselves, but rather a mockery of it as we strip day by day our dignity in order to avoid conflict with a world that would spread us apart. How can we endure this? Let me read that again. That's a long sentence. It says, what we call adaptation is not the result of a subtle but constantly constructive change of ourselves, but rather a mockery of it. We strip day by day our dignity in order to avoid conflict with the world that would spread us apart. How can we endure this? Maybe through the power of responsibility, or we feel responsible for sitting in a place of being and of putting ourselves consistently in a situation that strips us day by day of our dignity, just to avoid conflict with the world that may not like what it is that we truly want to do, or that will not accept us for who we are and what we would want to do, because it may be against social norms, or it may be against the norm. What is the norm? Everybody is different. Everybody should develop their own individual truth, I feel. Like, I can read one sentence, you can read a sentence, and we both get two totally different things from it. So we can't, there's no way that humanity can run off of one precept of things, or, you know, one way of doing things. You know, again, as long as your life is based out of unconditional love, of course, we know killing and hurting people is wrong. Point blank, period. The end is wrong, depending upon the circumstance, okay? Because again, like I was saying before, certain situations calls for some shadow, for your shadow self to come up and to fight and to stand its ground, to cuss a motherfucker out, to slap a bitch if you have to. I said I was gonna try to do right. I just can't get right, but that's all right. I accept me. Or through a hidden core of identity. So have you placed your identity into a role that you can't get out of? Because we're all, like this book is saying, we are constantly changing, and it's a constructive change. However, if we're changing constantly and we put ourselves in this one role that does not fit where we're growing, you're gonna eventually bust that mold. Something is going to bust if you don't free yourself, you know. Where was I? Sometimes we don't use the best part of us, but rather we draw from the ugliest. We survive and bend our knees because we draw out from our laziness, fear, and disgust. We let our deepest roots go dry, replaced by what can only be called a surge of lack of self-esteem. It's so funny, that's exactly what I was talking about before I started this video, and how I went and deleted all of the other videos that I did, the other shadow work videos that I did, because I allowed the world and what, you know, how they may pick apart the videos that I did. I allowed that to get to me, amongst other things. Lack of self-esteem, something that I'm working on. Wasn't confident in what I was doing and such, but I feel like this is where my soul wants me to grow. And so, you know, I can't stay where I was. I can't not do what I'm doing. This work, the tarot, the oracles, it's just not in the cards for me right now. You know, who knows, years from now I may be doing something different. Well, this may not be a part of my life anymore. It may have another form of divination that I'm into, but right now, this is it. And I'm going to go with the flow. I'm going to follow my heart, follow my spirit, and where it leads me. It says, we are deluded when we think that we are only sacrificing our pride when we stay in situations that strip us of our dignity every day just to avoid conflict. We're not only sacrificing our pride. We cling to vanity, but we can't afford dignity. Isn't that sad? We can cling to these identities that make us look good. Vanity. We can cling to the vanity. We can cling to these roles that we have. But even when these roles do not line up with our integrity or our dignity or what we truly feel inside, isn't that sad? Honestly, the true delusion is our faith in fall and winter, while we discard spring and summer as fairy tales. The sky changed color too. As long as we sometimes look up, we can notice. Alright, and then the other card here says Gilded Regret. I was thinking about like restructuring the readings, but I'm just going to keep doing them like I did the other ones. Maybe in the next shadow series in a month from now or 2 months, who knows. I'll have an idea to do things a little different, but I'm just going to keep things the same right now. Gilded regret. The stage of grief for this card is bargaining. And of course, bargaining is where we try to postpone our grief by making it less severe or less urgent. We try to talk our way out of the consequences, accepting what we want to hear and rejecting what we don't. Gilded regret. I feel like living in the past. Please forgive me 5 more minutes. Please give me 5 more minutes to linger. Wow. Okay. It says the Elven Queen. So you can see here. This is the visual seed. The Elven Queen with heavy eyes. Her dress as blue as the clearest water. Her crown of thorns and golden clawed flowers hold a blue orb in her hand. The sentence that describes this card, and the one sentence that describes this card, according to this book, is, memories are like floating underwater. Safe, warm, murky, yet they hold the scent of death. Going dark. The cage of our memories is the most gilded. Lingering in the past, savoring crumbs and flashes, hints and ifs. But is our sword, however, is our shield. We follow the river against the currents to a sea of maybes. We cannot say life is here now. We just say life was here. So that even when the future builds day by day, we still look backward to memories and possibilities. Options we missed, things we lost, changes we fled. It is like staying in the twilight of conscious, in the blessed state of those 5 minutes between the time the alarm rings and when you actually wake up. Like little kids, between the time mom calls and the time we need to wake up and run. But those 5 minutes are taking up too much time. They are the drain of our energies, our opportunities, of our future. The ifs are now gone. Whatever has been already, isn't it? So Sagittarius, it sounds like you may be holding on to the past. Not only are you holding on to the past, you're holding on to past roles that you've played, that you've outgrown, that you're only holding on to because it fits the social norm that you're in. It fits, the ideal that, family, friends may have for you. Alright, and then we have the Angel Answers deck here, and the 2 cards that came out is Romance and Not the Right Time. Below that is Get More Information. So, I don't know, maybe there's a new romance in your life that Spirit is saying, maybe now is not the right time for you to indulge. There's a lot of internal things that you need to deal with. So, distracting yourself from the work that needs to be done, it's not what needs to be done right now, Simplicity is the next card. And remember, that came out twice in 2 different decks, so let's see what's popping. So let's read Simplicity. white feather. So again, this could be white feathers are signs from the angelic realm. You know, just letting you know that maybe your spirit guides are around you, perhaps your ancestors are around you, past loved ones, you know, that are, you know, just giving you a sign that they're surrounding you and guiding you and protecting you as well, because protection did come out here. And below that, I have the miracle card here. So, there's some miracles on its way to you, Sagittarius, perhaps. But right now, it's just the time for you to really get real with yourself. It says white feather. Imagine a single white feather illuminated against a blue sky, wafting on warm air currents as it floats to the earth with simplicity and grace. Both Native Americans and Egyptians thought feathers were messages from the sky gods. Chiefs would wear feathers to symbolize their communioning with the Creator. I think I said that right. It was believed that when one wore feathers on one's head, messages from a human can travel to spirit. Likewise, messages and energy from the spiritual realms could travel back down to the human through the hollow shaft of a feather. Feathers were also wafted through the air to cleanse and purify space. The sacred landscape wants you to know, to find a sacred simplicity and have clarity in your life. Do only what matters. Release everything else. Simplify your life. Scan all areas and clear both internal and external clutter. Rest, rejuvenate, and only participate in what is truly important to you. Relinquish everything else. Do not delay. Do it now. When your life is cluttered with objects, relationships, time constraints, and emotions, there is no room for spirit. There is too much static and too much stuff to connect to your soul. The smallest amount of clutter clearing can make the biggest difference. And then the next card was protection. Guardian oak. It says, in many traditions, the oak tree is associated with wisdom, strength, and protection. One of the many remarkable things about the oak is that from the smallest acorn, a powerful tree of enormous size can spring forth and live for hundreds of years. The roots of the oak go as deep into the earth as its branches reach into the sky. Wow, I didn't know that. The oak is honored for its expanse, its nobility, its endurance. Additionally, its tendency to attract lightning confirmed in the minds of many ancients that the oak represented life force, vitality, and strength. Many cultures revered the oak and honored the living spirit within it. They believed that there was a mystic doorway in the oak tree through which one could travel to inner worlds. Oak is one of the most compelling symbols for protection. The sacred landscape wants you to know, one of the most potent signs on the sacred landscape is the ancient oak. It carries numerous meanings. You are protected. You can weather anything. Your roots go deep, Sagittarius. You are brave and you can survive anything. Stand strong. You carry the energy of a leader and you have great authority in life. So stop with this. Don't allow anyone to keep you boxed into a place that is no longer the right size for you. Come out of the past. Stop dwelling on the past and what happened then. And come and move into simplicity. It's simple, you know. Just make the decision. Make the decision to live the life that you want to live. Do it in a tactful way, if possible, you know. But don't allow your fears or anyone else's fears or anyone else's opinion keep you from living your best life. From following your heart. Let me just say that. Following your heart. It could be different for everyone. But you are a leader, and you have great authority in life. Great wisdom is expanding within you and other senses. This card can also mean to protect your assets. Take care to guard and protect your home, your loved ones, and yourself. All right. And then, so the next, path to the soul. And we have here 31. Joyous is the card you guys got. The colors of pink and green signify the opening of the heart chakra to deeper and more profound joy. Embrace this shift occurring within you. As you do, allow for that childlike wonder and amazement to fill every part of your being. You deserve to feel the bliss and happiness. You have done the work. You have made the effort. Now it is time to simply enjoy all that life has to offer. And then we have this card here, which was on the bottom of the deck, for the soul purpose. Path of the soul, I'm sorry. 43. Let's see what this message is. Universal connection. The guidance you are receiving now is truly universal. Take time daily to connect with your guides and angels. Take time daily to connect, because they are all wanting to connect with you. To connect with your guides and your angels. They wish to connect with you as much as you wish to connect with them. They are working very closely with you, and you are being encouraged to journal at this time. This is a great story you are writing. And then you do have right here, this is a great story you are writing. It is your personal story, and it is unique to you and only you. Write poetry to express the emotions you are feeling. Write down your dreams and synchronistic events that occur. This card calls for putting your connection and experience with spirit into writing. All right, so let's read Simplicity from this book here, which is a long one. It says, life can sometimes become very complicated. Focus on the card, meditate on the card, see what energies you get from it, what messages you get from it. The Simplicity card comes when the demands of life start to overwhelm us. And maybe that's the reason why the, not the right time card is here. It's because, there needs to be more simplicity in your life. It's just, maybe life is overwhelming you. And so this is just a protection for you to just kind of fall back and just really focus on yourself, to write, to journal, to, write poetry, and just keep a note of, all the messages that you get from Spirit, things that you feel, things that you want to say to Spirit perhaps, or your higher self, things that you want to manifest. Just be conscious of all of those things. It's time to get back to the basics. It's time to take a time out, so you have the space to breathe and the quiet to think. It's time for a full assessment of what is and is not working in your life right now. Are you overfilling your plate with too many tasks and errands? Are you involved in a complicated or emotionally draining relationship? Perhaps you have been working too much or taking too many classes, leaving no spare time for you. Simplicity. The simplicity card comes to you, ask that you give your life an evaluation. Give your life an evaluation. Okay. What are we evaluating in this card? Downcast pride. Are you allowing your dignity to be stripped away from you day by day to avoid conflict with the world? Huh? And what does this one say? 5. This is a 5 and 2. What do you need to evaluate according to this card? Let's see. Are you feeling like living in the past? And you, please give me 5 more minutes to linger in the past and what happened in the past and how things used to be, how good things used to be back then. You want those 5 more minutes before you have to wake up to go to work? That little heavenly. No, it's time to deal with reality. And get to it. Only you know what decisions you need to make. Decisions either to walk away from things that are no longer working, or a decision to fix it. Can it be fixed? If it can, fix it. If it can't, what are you doing? Simplicity card comes to ask that you give your life an evaluation. Take the time out you need and start to get clear about what brings you substance in your life. While life may never be easy, your life does need to allow for a sense of ease. We can lose our sense of self and our inner connection to spirit when we are overwhelmed with the demands and happenings of the world around us. Spirit is calling you to begin making yourself a priority in your own life. They are asking that you put yourself in those things which help you feel closer to Source in front of everything else. You need a reprieve from the chaotic and hectic energy you are experiencing right now. When you are in touch with yourself and with Source, it helps to make life more manageable. It helps you to feel steady on your feet and aids you in removing those things which do not align with your highest good. It also frees your energy so you have plenty to give to those things which you do choose to keep in your life. Again, it's time to choose. Time to choose. And then right came up here. Right was brought up multiple times. Journaling. Right. There is an expression in English about words being printed in black and white. By drawing this card, Spirit is affirming to you that you need to get your words written down on paper. Okay, Sagittarius. Is there something you have thought about writing? It could be poetry, a children's book, a song, a letter, a website, a channeled message, a book, or even a speech. Whatever it may be, the energy of putting your thoughts, ideas, and information into a tangible form of manifestation is here. Do not put it off any longer. If you are having doubts, that's fine. Just acknowledge them and take action anyway. It's important you do, as this is going to lead to something more. And I'm glad I re-uploaded those videos, and I'm glad I'm continuing this shadow series. Sorry, I'm trying to plug myself into y'all reading, but I'm really not, because I am a Sagittarius moon. I got that shit everywhere. I didn't put it off any longer. I had doubts, and I erased it, and I went and put them back up there. I acknowledged them and I took action anyway. Put them back up and I kept going with the readings. Okay? It's important that you do this, as this is going to lead to something more. Your creative force and expression is powerful. Probably more powerful than you are aware of. What you have to say, share, and bring forward to others can be very influential and appreciated. Trust yourself and the words that come to you. Be mindful not to judge whether your writing seems good enough. You just need to allow yourself to start. If you have already begun the writing process, then it is important for you to receive this encouragement. Wow. The next card underneath that was manifest. It says in your commitment is underneath that. Commitment was underneath that. It says if you've already begun the writing process, then it is important for you to receive this encouragement from your guides and angels. Right? As you continue toward completion. You can do this. Your words are needed. You are doing great. Trust what is coming through you. Trust that you were made to do this. Just keep going. Not everyone is born with the gift or purpose to write, but you were, Sagittarius. Now is your time to shine in doing this. The right card can also indicate a need to begin journaling. That's what this card was saying too. I believe it was that one. To begin journaling. This could be in the form of a diary. However, it could also be that you need to start recording the ideas, thoughts, and teachings you are receiving. There is pertinent information in your written words. All right, so we're getting through winding things up here. The last two cards, balance, is what this card is about. Life is all about balance, and I tell that to my clients all the time. Balance is the key to life. And this card is here to help you create more balance in all aspects of your life. Work, play, relationship time, and alone time, social time, and quiet meditation, physical activity and rest, giving and receiving, feminine energy and masculine energy. Balancing out each aspect of your life will enable you to give your energy to the world in a much more grounded and centered way. This card was all the way off the screen. Balance, my people. Balance is the key to life. And then we have 23 here. Intimacy. The rose is a universal symbol of human love. This card has appeared because this is an important energy for you right now. There are two energy spirals moving into the center of the rose, which represent two people energetically coming together. If you are not in a relationship, then this card shows a new relationship on the horizon. If you are in a relationship, then this card is asking you to focus your energy here. Rekindle the romance and the passion. Embrace the energy of lover. Open to the intimacy and allow yourself to be vulnerable with your partner. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Alright, so Sagittarius, it's just seeming like right now is the time for you to just get your thoughts together. Figure out what it is that you want in your life. No time to distract yourself. Write, journal if you need to. Simplify your life as best as you can. And make sure you make time for balance within your life. Balance between spirit and the physical, working and resting. Feminine and masculine energies. Balance all the way around, you know. And also make time for some romance and love and intimacy with your partner. You know, sometimes you may need to, when you're in a relationship for a very long time, you have to Go back to the feelings that you had when you first got together. Like, what attracted you to that person? What are some of the things that you did back in the day that got her all nice, hot, and bothered and stuff that maybe you're not doing anymore? Like, maybe you guys need to have that conversation if there's, a lack of that. And if you have had that conversation, like I said, if you've done everything that you can to make things right, we got to go back to the beginning of the reading. You can't stay in a place that strips you of your dignity, strips you of your integrity, strips you of who you are every day just to avoid conflict. That's not healthy. And living in the past and what used to be, which could be what I was just talking about, living in the past and trying to bring that up. But, maybe what you did in the past probably won't work right now, because after you've been in relationships for a long time, we all grow and evolve, just like this card was saying here. We're always progressing and changing constructively. And in doing so, we have to maneuver and change the way that we used to do things, because we're older now. I can use that analogy of a baby. You used to feed a baby food, but as that baby grew constructively, which, it grew teeth, that baby food ain't gonna be enough. That baby is gonna grow and get bigger. That baby food is just gonna take too much. You got to adjust. You got to adapt. You got to change. The only thing constant in life is change. And it should be an exciting task for you to, so look at it as an exciting task to take on, to grow and to find new ways to express your love to your partner or to yourself, right? Like I said here, journal. Maybe you have some ideas in your journaling and your writing on how you can spark up the intimacy in your current relationship, or do what you need to do, step away and begin a new life. But doing both, it's not an option. Alrighty, well, that's your reading, Sagittarius.